What's up, guys? Vulkan here, and today was a big day for Xbox and Bethesda fans. So we just wrapped up their E3 presentation, and I have to say, while there have been better ones in the past, this lineup was much better than we saw last year, in my opinion. So now let's go over the best reveals from today's showing. Just a reminder, this is my opinion, so keep that in mind. And if you want a version without commentary, check the link in the upper right-hand corner. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started with a brand new IP from Arcane Studios, Redfall. So Redfall is an Xbox exclusive. It's an open world co-op shooter that sends out some big Left 4 Dead vibes, except instead of zombies, we're going to be fighting against vampires and cultists. And we get to see a longer trailer that shows off the different characters we'll get to play as, along with the special powers that each one has. So first up is Layla. She has telekinetic powers, move things with her mind, you know, all that fun stuff. Then we have Jacob, an ex-military sharpshooter who has a vampire eye and a spectral raven that helps out. Super edgy from the look of him. Next up is Remy, who is a hero that has a robot companion, and from her description, she sounds like she is going to be a tank or protector for the group. And lastly is Devinder, who is an inventor and paranormal investigator. They don't list any of his powers, but I mean, he must bring something to the table if he's there, so hopefully we'll see a little bit more when they reveal more gameplay. Now, in addition to each hero having different powers, we'll also be able to customize their weaponry and really put our own spin on them to, you know, mow down vampires. Now, the gist of this game surrounds discovering more about the process of greedy people becoming vampires through science and trying to save their town of Redfall. Now, since this is an open world game, you're going to be able to choose multiple paths across the island and fight through hordes of vampires. But like I said, there aren't just vampires on the island. You'll also be dealing with the cultists who now worship these vampires during the day. Vampires are still reserved for night or dark environments. Now, Redfall is going to be coming to Xbox in 2022, so for now we're going to have to just hold tight and wait and see. But let's go ahead and head off to our next title, Halo Infinite. Now, for those of you who have been around the channel for a while, understand that Halo is one of my favorite games ever. Hands down. Halo is very near and dear to my heart. I was in the competitive scene forever, and it was just a great time. So we finally got to see some new and improved Halo Infinite gameplay after last year's absolutely horrible showing that ended up making more memes than waves. So this time they focused on the multiplayer aspect to highlight how impactful different things are going to be and the changes that they've made. They show off a lot of grapple shot and how that's going to work, along with showcasing new equipment like the drop wall and the repulsor. So it looks like they're taking some inspiration from Halo 3 in terms of finding and using gadgets to kind of help your play style. So hopefully we'll get a better look at all of those different gadgets as we get closer to launch. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but we did get confirmation that the game will feature cross-play, cross-progression. So if you play on Xbox and then you want to switch over to PC, your Spartan will still be there and you can continue working on that profile. You don't have to have two separate ones anymore. And it will also have local split screen for those good old LAN parties, or if you want to sit on the couch and play with some friends. Now, they are releasing multiplayer for free as a standalone install, while the campaign will need to be purchased and installed separately. So they're kind of going that Call of Duty Warzone versus story mode route. I think this is the right play. If they didn't do something like this, then Call of Duty would continue building their lead on Halo and it just wouldn't end up working out. Okay, so let's keep this train moving and jump into our next big reveal, Outer Worlds 2. So the first Outer Worlds was great. It was made by a few of the devs behind Fallout New Vegas and ended up doing well enough to warrant a sequel, apparently. Now, we don't have any information at all on the second one. The trailer even states that itself by claiming the only thing ready to reveal is the title. It's very tongue-in-cheek, saying, you know, we don't even have the story, we don't have the gameplay, we have this like silhouette hero facing away from the camera because his design isn't finalized yet, and there's all of these kind of things. So it was a funny trailer, but at the end of the day, we still don't know anything. So why did I include this one? Well, number one, it's Obsidian Entertainment. They have a great track record, one of my favorite studios, and Outer Worlds was really, really fun. So I'm looking forward to learning more about this one and wanted to get it on everybody's radar. So changing gears a little bit, let's take a look at a hugely popular isometric roguelike that pretty much I heard about everywhere after its release, and that is Hades, the winner of one of the best games of the year awards. Now, while we aren't getting any new content or big updates to the game, we do have some great news for console players. The game will be coming to Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, and PS5, with PS5's DualSense controller getting some unique features that work with the game. And if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you'll get access day one as well. Now, when it comes to performance, they did confirm that the Xbox One and PS4 versions will be running at 1080p 60 frames per second, while the Series X and S and the PS5 will all be running at 4K 60 frames per second. Now, this one was a surprise, and honestly, I'm very glad that people who weren't able to play it yet will finally have the chance, because it really is a fantastic game. Even if you're like me, you don't like roguelikes, the game is just designed so well that you often forget about the penalty of death and starting over and all of that fun stuff. So moving into the next game and keeping our isometric view, the next thing we're going to talk about is a remaster. And again, this one has a huge following and it generated tons of hype at the last BlizzCon. That's going to be Diablo 2 Resurrected, which I was very surprised to see in this showcase, to be honest. And as a huge action RPG and Diablo fan, this game was an instant pre-order. They're completely remastering the game. They're bringing it up to today's standards while keeping the visual spirit and the core of the game intact. Naturally, this does include all of your DLC for the game. It has all of the classes. And one of the huge announcements that was part of BlizzCon was that Diablo 2 Resurrected would also feature mod support. Now, we aren't sure if that will come to Xbox as well, but if you are playing on PC, side note, it'll have mod support. Now, getting back to the Xbox announcement, they did reveal the release date today. Diablo 2 Resurrected will be hitting consoles and PC September 23rd, 2021, which is much sooner than I thought. And if you are playing on the console, the game will be optimized for Series X and S, and you can see frame rates of up to 120 per second. You can also pre-order the Primeval Edition for $60 to get access to the beta closer to launch. So heading back to the first-person side of things, we got our first look at gameplay for Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. Now, this game takes place in the same-ish location from the first Stalker game and Clear Sky, and it includes some iconic locations like the swamp. Now, Xbox revealed that the game will be optimized for Series X and S, and again, it can reach up to 120 frames per second. Now, this particular Stalker takes us back to the Chernobyl exclusion zone, but it's not going to be as you remember. Things are going to change. There's a lot out there to discover. Things have either decayed and fallen to the wayside, or there's new things where nothing used to be. So there's a whole bunch of different things out in the environment to go out and explore. And the article on Xbox.com also confirms that this is going to be one of the, quote, biggest open worlds to date, along with story choices that influence your own story as well as future scenarios. Then they also gave us a rundown of some quick kind of info bits of things that we saw in the trailer. One, the new detector is called a Gilka, which means stick in Ukrainian. There's a consumable called Jelly that recovers stamina. They placed a teaser of a new faction in the trailer and encouraged us to look for it. And at the end of the trailer, you get to see Sergei Grigorovich, the creator of the Stalker series. So great stuff here. I'm excited that we finally got to see some more gameplay on this one. The first Stalker was a game that I would just spend hours and hours searching the world, having fun discovering new weapons and puzzles, and getting to jump back into the world of Stalker with fresh visuals and a fresh kind of perspective. I'm really excited to do that. So guys, all in all, that was a decent Xbox showing. We got to see some new titles, some updates, expansions, remasters, but I want to hear from you. What was your favorite thing that they showed off, and what are you disappointed that you didn't see more of? For me, it was Fable. I was really hoping we'd see some Fable 4 gameplay, or maybe even an extended trailer or something, but for now, we saw a very, very little snippet of a fairy and a sword. Then also Avowed. That's another one that I would have liked to see more gameplay on, again from Obsidian, but for now, we're just gonna have to kind of wait and see. So that's gonna wrap this one up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support, and as always, this has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.